Hey, Mike with D2D Millionaire here. And do you struggle with getting switchover accounts for your business? Well, today's video, I'm going to go through a couple different tips you can use to get more switchover customers for your business. So one thing that a lot of sales reps struggle with is getting switchover accounts while they're selling door to door. And one aspect that you really want to focus on to improve that is to really establish that getting switchovers and being a switchover customer, that's normal, right? Think of your everyday life. How often do you do the same things, right? You go to the same gas station, you buy the same brand of coffee or milk or eggs or whatever the case might be, right? But in a lot of those scenarios, it's pretty normal to try a different brand of cereal or go to a different coffee place to get your coffee or get gas from a different gas station, right? It's not the end of the world. You don't freak out. You don't have to do a bunch of research on it. You just go ahead and do it, right? So it's a natural process. And so again, you want to make it seem and position that being a switchover customer, going from whatever XYZ business that they are using to your company, that's totally normal, and then that happens all the time. So that's the first thing that you want to do. The second thing you want to do is really know your competition. One thing that a lot of sales reps don't take the time to do is find out about their competition, right? So if they're selling door to door, it's a pretty frequent occurrence that someone might have a product or a service or work with a business that's similar to yours, right? So when that happens, do you take the time to ask them why they decided to go with that business or why they chose that service over yours, or what intrigued them most about that service that they decided to go with them, or what were they looking to achieve when they went with that service, or what stood out about that company of why they went with that service. On top of that, try and find out what their weaknesses are, right? So if you're talking to this potential customer, find out what they don't like about that company, what issues have they had with that business, and what has them second guessing, right, what they decided to do in the first place with that business. So when you can start to develop a pattern and find out what are some companies' strengths, what are their weaknesses, it can lead into being a switchover customer very quickly. So on top of that, you never really want to attack a specific business or attack a company, because what that does is it puts your potential customer on the defensive. It basically calls into question their decision-making process, right? And the last thing that you want to do is insult someone or make them feel like they were stupid for choosing a company or stupid for going with this business rather than yours, right? You don't want to insult them and insult their intelligence and insult their decision-making process, but at the same time, when you know, again, why they went with one company and what they liked best, what they liked least, at this point, this is where you want to focus on your competitive advantage and focus on what your core competencies are of your business. So, for example, you might have different aspects of your business that you excel at, right? So maybe you're the lowest priced in your competition. Maybe you have the best value, you have the best customer service, you have the quickest turnover time, you service your customers quicker than any other business. Maybe you provide a variety of services that other companies don't. Maybe it's your service guarantee or your warranty, right? So there's all these different aspects that you will most likely have some advantage over your competition. So what you can do at this point, when you find out what your customers initially went with that other business for, you can find similarities in your business and emphasize that you have that aspect as well, but then start to emphasize the differences or the other competitive advantages that your company has that the others don't. So instead of attacking them and saying that their company is terrible, you can compliment them and like, hey, I know I've heard that they have great customer service. That's one thing that we pride ourselves on as well. On top of that, though, we have an amazing service guarantee, and then you can go into that. So instead of just attacking that company, compliment them and say, hey, we know that they do a